Hi guys, welcome to episode 4 of the Arsenal Away. I'm Samrid and he's Ashwin. We are at the Arsenal Away on both YouTube. Click the bell icon to subscribe to us. Follow us on at the Arsenal Away. Ashwin, how goes? How was the weekend?
Weekend's been good so far. I mean, we got 3 points. I can't complain about that. We're third, heading into the international break.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal, back to boring Arsenal. I mean, how can I put this right? I think because we've been following Arsenal through the Wenger generation, right? We've been spoilt by good, attractive attacking football, and we expect that maybe from Emery as well, a little too much. Maybe he's not the sort of manager who wants to play that sort of football. At the end of the day, he's got us 3 points, and we're third on the table after playing Liverpool away, after playing United away, after playing Spurs. That's 3 of our top 6 competitors.
Yeah.
1 point behind last year's champions and above the rest of the pack. So I understand that. I understand the frustration. I was complaining as well, saying that we've played the worst football I've ever seen at the Emirates, which was on Sunday. The second half was the worst. But at the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points, and we're third, having lost one game. I mean, the only other team, Liverpool, are unbeaten so far, and after Liverpool is us, because the only other team to have lost one game is us.
City lost two.
City lost two games. So, however much I've slated Unai and however much I've said he's boring, I don't think he has a plan. I don't think he has a strategy. We're still third. And we can only beat what's in front of us, and we're doing that so far. So, I can't complain.
What did you make of the lineup when it first came out? Were you surprised to see Saka on the left?
So I kind of predicted this by saying that he probably not have Ozil on the team at all. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Saka on the left, at the moment, I feel out of the youngsters coming up, he looks like the most ready to be blood into games like this. He doesn't the thing with Reece Nelson is that I felt because he went away to Germany last year, he got a bit overhyped. He got those early goals, and everybody expected Reece Nelson to really, really turn it on this year. It hasn't happened for him. Martinelli's done well, but again, he's done well against inferior opposition. And, throwing him in again into the deep end in the Premier League might affect his confidence. So getting him in slowly is kind of the way I think what Unai is looking at doing, and I think what he's doing is right. Saka, the thing is, I think he's a very intelligent footballer. He knows when to take the player on. He knows when to make a pass. Of course, he's still a little raw, but that will come with time. So I feel in the attacking position, not considering Joe Willock and everybody, in the attacking position, I feel out of Saka, Reece Nelson and Gabriel Martinelli, Saka is the most suited and the most advanced compared to the three of them, compared to all of them, basically.
No, you're right. I think his running, both when he's either overlapping or when he's got the ball on his feet, definitely it shows signs of a player who's aware of what's happening around him and how he needs to cater his game to how the game is flowing. There's definitely, like you said, there seems to be a mature head on his shoulders of someone so young who has, as we've missed in the past, in-game awareness of what is happening.
And he provides that genuine width from the left side, that we require.
You're right. He's got the pace as well to give us that.
If you notice, last year our team revolved around Kolasinac going up top, passing the ball to him, and then he'd cut it back. In fact, that hasn't happened a lot this year. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Kolasinac going forward is good, but then when he does that, we are really exposed on the back. So maybe Emery's asked him not to venture forward too far. So we haven't really seen Kolasinac go forward a lot. He's improved. I'm not saying he's better. He's done decently, and he's improved on his defensive abilities this year, but we haven't seen him go forward. So having Saka there is vital because he provides that width. He provides the balls from the left, which is something that we were missing. So I think at the moment I don't think that we can drop him right now, and we shouldn't drop him.
How do you think the first half went? I thought we were bright in the first half. First 15-20 minutes were great. We were on the ball, pushing Bournemouth on the back foot. Bournemouth, I think, barely got out of their half. We were on the ball. We were pretty much. It seemed like there was a plan in place, and not to hold back and just hit Bournemouth on the counter. But I thought it was one of the better first halves that we've seen this season from us.
Okay, so the thing with that is, I think Bournemouth gave us too much respect in the first half.
Too much respect, yeah.
They sat back off us, and just I think it was basically damage limitations to go into halftime with maybe like not conceding a single goal or maybe being 1-0 down. But I think they sat back off us. If they played the way they did in the second half, I think it would have been a different game, because in the second half we sat off them, and they, I think it's something that breeds confidence in teams when our team basically sits off and lets them have the ball. And then it's the same thing that happened with Watford as well, right? We sat off them, and then it bred confidence into them, and they started attacking and they started taking shots and they kept possession, which was pretty much the same thing that happened with Bournemouth in the second half as well. The players started running more, they started creating more chances, because they felt it that we were happy with the 1-0 lead, and we were basically trying to hit them on the counter and play that style of football which Emery likes to do. And sometimes that can be dangerous, because then you give the other team that chance, and then you give them the confidence, and maybe they score a goal, and then that leads to more confidence, and then it dips your team, and then it can end up badly, like which happened with Crystal Palace and us last year at the Emirates, when we were 1-0 up, and then were we 1-0 up? Or was it, did we lose 2-1? Oh no, I think
we lost 3-2. We lost Palace last season.
Yeah, we lost to Palace, but I think they scored first as well. Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm. So it was similar on those lines, and so that's the thing, right? Like first half, we were an absolutely different side. We weren't great, but it also had to do with Bournemouth being pretty poor. But second half, we were diabolical. Like, what was that second half? It was one of the worst.
How do you? I mean. Just going back a couple of steps, Luiz getting off the mark for Arsenal, pretty decent hit. I mean, he was. I remember when before that corner first came in, he was right at the edge of the box and he loses his man pretty easily and just nods it far corner. Pepe with his second or third assist for the season.
I think third assist. Yeah.
Third assist for the season. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not scoring, but at least there is a contribution that's happening.
He should have probably had a penalty as well.
Yeah, that's true. Right. I mean, I don't get it. The penalty, Mane
we were just talking about how soft it was.
Mane dived the night before.
Yeah.
And it was so soft, and VAR gave that, and this wasn't given. I don't get it. And this was a genuine call for a penalty. There was there was no doubt. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, I mean, the whole point of VAR is to cut out on referee errors. And which is what my whole frustration with VAR is, not that the system is wrong. I think it's a good step forward, but Premier League referees are still the same. You have Premier League referees who are sitting in that VAR room who have next to zero understanding of what the laws of the game are.
I'm glad you missed the United game, because had you seen that decision of Oba being offside?
Offside, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That was.
How do you call that offside? Like, I'm glad in a way that VAR stepped in that day, and otherwise we would have gone from Old Trafford with a 1-0 loss.
That was shocking. That the United offside goal, the penalty that should have been given. VAR is meant to, okay, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm giving the benefit of doubt to VAR. Okay, they're still trying to figure stuff out. The Oba offside, that is as clear as it gets.
And he's standing right in front of him.
He's right there. So I mean, just the quality of refereeing in England has been atrocious for a while now,
and you know what
and
they
which
say,
is
right? Like, I feel like since Wenger's been there, they just don't like Arsenal.
no, I
Because
don't think it's about Arsenal anymore. Ashwin. I just think that it's we feel the brunt of those decisions, or maybe Arsenal fans think that there's something going against us, just because of very high profile errors that have
yeah,
cost us games, cost us titles. I just think that when someone like a Mike Dean, someone like Mike Riley, who was just an awful referee during his refereeing days,
mm-hmm.
is some who's heading PGMOL, their professional body. It just doesn't. I don't see them progressing or even learning from those mistakes. I mean, I remember there was a whole documentary on Premier League television where they talked about how they look at their mistakes from the past and they try and improve, and it
I
just
don't see
seems
that
to get
happening.
worse every season. Yeah, it's progressively worse every season. This time you have help, for God's sake.
Mike Riley was the referee at Old Trafford, wasn't he? When we lost our
Yeah,
period,
yeah.
when they kicked Reyes off the
They
ground,
kicked Reyes off the ground.
and
Anyway, I think we're just
okay,
slightly digressing into the referees. That's a whole different podcast altogether.
yeah.
But coming on to your point on the second half, you're right. We just decided to shut shop.
Mm-hmm.
We let them come on to us. I think it was immediately after kickoff when they had a couple of really great chances. I think was it Wilson or King who had a shot blocked. I think when we kicked off in the second half,
Mm-hmm.
and they just. I mean, Oba was isolated. Oba wasn't there in the game anyways, right throughout.
Because our
Oba
midfield
was
was
completely
non-existent in the second
isolated.
half.
Yeah,
The thing is,
that.
when you're playing at home,
Yeah.
okay, I know you're 1-0 up, you want to protect the lead, but why would you keep Xhaka and Guendouzi on? Get one of them off. Why would you take Ceballos off? Right?
Look, the Ceballos,
If you're
I think
getting
is a
Joe
great.
Willock on, get one of either Xhaka or Guendouzi off and play Ceballos and Willock over there in midfield. At least then you can hold the ball. At least you have one of them who will run with the ball.
Look, I understand. I understand why he doesn't want to take. Xhaka's captain is not going to take him off.
Fair.
Guendouzi, I think he brings in that just that energy that he needs from players in
But
that
that's the
particular
thing,
role. So
right? Like
maybe
the two of them are very similar players. Both
Guendouzi
Xhaka
and
and Xhaka are very similar players.
okay.
Like if you had to replace one with the other, I think they'd be great at that. But I think playing the two of them together doesn't sort of allow our midfield to dominate. I mean, you and me have seen teams in the past where I'm not even getting to the Vieiras and all. I'm talking about even like when we played three in midfield with Fabregas, Flamini, and even like a Danielson at one point, or even like a Diaby or somebody. We dominate midfield, and that's where we'd win games because we'd be able to hold the ball and keep the ball. Our main problem right now is in the first half, if a team sits off us, we do well because we can hold the ball. But in the second half, when we sit off them, our tactic is basically play it long from Luiz or Xhaka, pass it to Xhaka, and Xhaka will play it long. I mean, what is
Yeah,
that?
you're right.
We're not going to get anywhere by playing the long ball. Okay, maybe once or twice you probably get a defender who's probably fallen asleep, and maybe Oba gets a run on him, or Pepe gets a run on him, or Laka gets a run on him. But you're not going to do that every time. You can't keep playing that sort of football. You need to have that midfield. Even against United, even though, okay, Pogba was playing, but Pogba was playing in a deeper role, and they had like McTominay, they were dominating the midfield, and that's where the battle was won. Because if you win the midfield battle, you know you're winning the game because you're keeping control of the ball, and we don't have that right now.
The point is, last year you signed a defensive midfielder in the form of Torreira, whose primary job was just to shield that back four and then break up play and then give it to everybody else. Here you have Xhaka and Guendouzi, who are not defensive midfielders. They're both, well, Guendouzi is more box to box. Xhaka is pretty one-dimensional in that manner. He gets the ball, turns, and just sprays it long. And then you have Ceballos, who I don't know. I can't. While I like him, I think he's a good addition to us. But I'm not seeing what he's bringing into that midfield that is giving us an edge. He's not a 10. He's not an 8. So what is he really doing there? I mean, if you want industry, you might as well play him out on the wing. For the under 23s when he plays for Spain, he plays out wide and he cuts back into the midfield. What is Ceballos bringing into that midfield that somebody else can't bring? I don't. So that is what I'm not. I'm still okay with Guendouzi and Xhaka playing. Ceballos, while he will start because he's apparently creative. I don't see anything that he's bringing in additionally to. I mean, it's the same characteristics that a Guendouzi or a Xhaka bring in currently.
See, the thing is, in the last podcast, I spoke about how we need to get this deal done and sort out the Ceballos deal from Real Madrid. So I'm not going to turn on that. I really like Ceballos as a player, but I feel the system is just not. It's not built around him at the moment. It's built so when you have great players, you can build a system around them, and then the team works from there. So I think it's not his fault. I think he's a great player. At the same way, if you remember that season that Ozil had 19 goals, 19 assists. Sorry, the best season that he had for us. Ozil played the 10, and behind Ozil was Santi Cazorla, right? And Ceballos can be that player who can be like Santi and play the ball, but he needs somebody else to share the burden of creating, right? And I know, like, we keep talking about how we need to keep playing Ozil, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. I feel the way Emery's treating Ozil. I mean, we can keep talking about this. Why would he name him a captain and not play him? There are reports of him now having to train with the under 23, so I don't even know how true that is. But why would you do that? How do you think?
I think he should be on the bench. He does offer. He is our most creative player. He does offer. Like he was built for that game yesterday on Sunday.
I mean, there's so many games that we've had this season and even last season where we said this would have been perfect for Ozil because he would have unlocked the defense.
He would have, and just the amount of space that Bournemouth were giving us, I think he was perfect for the game on Sunday. I don't see him coming back now. I don't know about the Twitter rumors of him training with the under 23s, whether he's had a fight with Emery. I don't know, because in pictures you'll invariably see him training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we are not doing ourselves any favor by not playing him. Of course, you said right at the top when we started that we're third and we've lost one game all season. We've lost to Liverpool, who are the runaway leaders, and we've drawn both Spurs and United, which are, in all fairness, are having terrible seasons. We should have beaten both those teams.
Should have.
But my concern is right now not on the results. We won, great, we're third. My concern is that it just seems very similar to the last 10 games of last season, where we were just about scraping through results, and then eventually we didn't.
Yeah.
When we required, and we missed out by a point.
Yeah.
I don't see this as being sustainable as the season progresses, because it's only going to get tougher. We're going to continue playing Thursday, Sunday. December, I keep coming back to December because which is surprising that no one's really talking about this, and I keep harping on about it. I think this was the fourth episode in a row I've talked about it. December, the run of fixtures, Ashwin, that will decide where we finish. I mean, it's all fun and games right now because no one's really complaining about how we're playing because we're getting the results. But this is not a sustainable strategy for what he's doing. It's not. It's just not. you're going to get found out very, very easily by teams who can, like, even the likes of a Norwich can have a good game.
And break you down.
So it's, I mean, I'm happy we're third. I don't like how we're playing.
That leads me to this question. Like we discussed at the start of the pod, we mentioned that, okay, we're third. We're not playing the sort of football that we want to. We've gone back to, like boring style of football.
Yeah.
Does Emery look at it and say, we played 3 of our top 6. We are third. We're 1 point behind the champions. We've started the season without our best right back, without our best left back, without a centre back. Lacazette has been injured. We have players coming back from injury. Is that a positive for Emery to say that, okay, we've been shit, but we're still third. We have players to come back and we can only get better from here. Does he look at it and say, should I play more attacking football or should I continue playing this sort of brand of football? But at the end of the day, getting the points is all that matters. What do you think?
Look, I think Bellerin coming back will help Pepe.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now he's not getting any support. Even though Chambers, who I thought had probably his best game of the season on Sunday,
man of the match.
He was fabulous. Right on the ball, he knew what he was doing. It's like he's been playing in that position for years.
Yeah.
Also, it's been helped by the fact that the loan spells at Borough and at Fulham last season have helped.
Also, it's helping because Maitland-Niles is not really a right back. So when somebody comes,
Maitland-Niles is not really a right back. You're right. I mean, you have a defender who was tried initially. I remember even Arsene had tried him.
Yeah.
To play at right back.
He played him left back as well.
But yeah, I mean, just coming back to your point on the squad that's coming back, I think you're right. He's maybe looking at it that I don't have my best team and I'm still okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's maybe waiting for defensive solidity in the likes of Holding or a Tierney, Bellerin to make those runs, support Pepe. We maybe see a little bit more Pepe, better Pepe once Bellerin is back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still pessimistic about how that is going to play out. I mean, if that works for us, great. I just don't see him change it too much.
Yeah,
he's not going to suddenly replace a Socrates or a Luiz with Holding. Bellerin and Tierney obviously come back straight in.
Yeah.
Once fit. That I think will make a difference because when they were fit last season, when we had Bellerin fit last season, he was making those overlap runs right through.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped. And you're right. Maybe he's waiting for the right moment to maybe play a little bit more expansive football once he knows he's got fullbacks who can do the running up and down. I don't see it changing very drastically. I don't, because if nothing else, if you don't have those overlapping runners, you need someone who can then someone in the midfield who can ping balls to the likes of a Saka or a Pepe or even an Oba who has the ability to run in behind defenses, and we're not doing that. We're not playing a 10 at all. We're playing pretty much a flat across the midfield. And which is why an Ozil not starting or not even on the bench or in the matches squad is baffling, not having him, because what is the point of having runners when you have no one to feed them the
ball? So more of boring football and Oba bailing us out, huh?
Yeah, I know. I mean, even Oba had no service at all.
He had no service. He had the one chance. He should have scored.
I mean, right at the end, I think that was offside as well.
Oh yeah, it was offside. Had he scored?
So there was nothing that he was pretty much isolated, and that's what teams will do. That's what the likes of a City or a Liverpool or someone or a manager who's smart enough to isolate him behind both your midfield and your defense, and he's stuck there. He's not going to have any service.
You don't need to isolate Oba if you're playing City or Liverpool. If you sit off City and Liverpool, they're gonna pick you.
They'll play around you. Yeah,
they'll play around you. Like you saw the second half. I mean, okay, we were at Anfield, we were chasing the game where we were open in the second half and Liverpool scored.
Yeah.
But you can't let them, you can't sit off them and give them the ball. There's no way that we can sit and defend. Anyway, moving from that, I am going to quickly run into the player ratings.
Yeah.
So let's start with the goalkeeper. Let's start with Bernd Leno. What do you think? How do you rate him?
Second clean sheet for the season. He looked pretty decent. I think I give him a 7 on 10.
Okay. Made a few decent saves.
Yeah, I think he was all right. He's done nothing wrong in these 7-8 games to justify either dropping him or pointing at him and saying that he was responsible for a goal. I think the earlier goals that we've conceded right throughout the season have been more defensive lapses than him causing them. So I think he's been pretty solid. So give him a 7.
7, not bad. What about Kolasinac?
He's very blow cold for me, Ashwin. I think when given space to make those run behinds and then cut back, he's fine going forward. He is a wing back. He's not a full back.
But he has become a little better defensively over the last couple of games because he's not going forward that much, I feel. He has improved his game. Maybe it's that, or maybe he knows that Tierney is waiting in the wings, so he has to up his game a little bit, which is a good thing.
Maybe that's true. I mean, that'll obviously to the benefit of the team. I wasn't very happy with him. I thought he did okay. Gave him a 6, I think.
Okay, that's fair. Moving to the centre back, so you have the goal scorer Luiz.
Yeah, Luiz was good. I think Luiz and Socrates had Luiz had a surprisingly better game than Socrates. Right towards the end, Socrates lost his man. That I think it was King who had that last chance before Guendouzi came and blocked his shot.
Yeah.
Socrates completely lost his man.
Fine. Yeah.
Luiz had a good game. Credit to him for the goal. Give him an 8. Just purely 2 additional points for the goal that he scored.
Maybe now Luiz and Socrates are basically understanding each other, so maybe the partnership is getting a little better.
Yeah, no, I think obviously it'll take it
together.
Yeah. I think give him an 8 for the goal.
Papa Socrates.
Yeah.
No, your views on Papa, the ratings.
Views, it's fine. I mean, give him a 7 again.
7.
Not an 8. I'm giving him a 7 only because both him and Luiz, I think, finally starting to understand each other, like you said. So, for the clean sheet, he gets an additional point from me.
Okay, moving to right back, Callum Chambers.
Chambers had a fabulous game.
Probably one of his best games played, right?
Yeah, 9 on 10. I don't want 10 is perfect. I don't think anybody was perfect on the day, but he was as close to being perfect as possible.
I think it was as good as the Newcastle game that he played, the first game of the season. Yeah. He was that good, like at centre back there.
Yeah, he's a good. Yeah.
At right back.
You're right.
I think 9 is fair because he was my man of the match as well. I think he deserves that. So he had a good game. Moving to midfield, Granit Xhaka.
I mean, Xhaka didn't put foot wrong. I think he was pretty. It was an error-free game from him. If that is sufficient rating, I guess.
What I noticed a lot in this game was Xhaka was a lot deeper than I've seen him before. It was almost like we played with a back 3, where Xhaka was almost like a very deep lying quarterback playing between both Socrates and Luiz. And I mean, I understand that he's trying to maybe beat the press from the other teams and play the long passes and the long balls and all. But at the Emirates, when the team is sitting off you, I don't think that works in favor of both Xhaka and the team. But like you're right, I don't think he put a foot wrong. He put in a solid shift, and maybe a 6 or 7 should be a fair rating.
Yeah, no, I think I probably give both him and Guendouzi a 6 or a 7.
They're both average.
Yeah, pretty average. Nothing great. Maybe Guendouzi a point higher because of that last-ish tackle that he made.
Yeah.
But I think they're pretty okay games from them.
But if I had to I think both their ratings come down for me by 1 point because the second half was terrible. Like we didn't have any ball control.
No, I think second half, I think for everyone was terrible. I think they were just told to set up that way. So yeah, you're right probably.
Okay, Ceballos.
Again, probably the same. Not spectacular, not awful, just about average.
Just kept things ticking.
Yeah, just kept ticking. Had the ball, laid it off, got it back.
See, the thing with me with Ceballos is every time I think when he picks up the ball, he drifts into the left too much. He doesn't like, even when you're now at this game, he was given the number 10 role. I didn't see him there enough. Like there was a tweet where somebody put up saying that before that skill that Pepe did where he beat his men and he picked up the ball. He picked up the ball from half line, and you can see there's a gap between Oba and the midfielders and Pepe being on the right. And that would have been a perfect position for a number 10 to be in and feed either Pepe, play a 1-2 with Pepe, or get the ball from Pepe and play it either into Opa or Saka, basically, right? So the thing with me is, I know we can't keep a hold of the ball that much, which is why he's probably going deeper to collect the ball. But the thing is, when you're giving him the number 10 role, I don't think he fills that position too much. He needs to really be there and control the game, but he's not doing that. Like you mentioned, second half there was no service for our front three. Even bringing on Martinelli made no difference because we couldn't keep a hold of the ball. So I think maybe you have to see, the thing is, like when Unai Emery played Aaron Ramsey in the 10, you're expecting him to make those bursts into the box, but we're missing that right now. That our midfield and attack has too much space. And I think that also has to do with the fact that because we're weak defensively, he's trying to keep midfielders, keep them more secure, closer to the defense, so that we're a little more tighter. But at the same time, he's not being able to find that balance between midfield and between defense and attack. So I think that's why he's.
No, you're right. Yeah. He's got. I mean, it's a pretty. I mean, it just seems to me that he's not really sure of what he needs to be doing, which is pretty much the running theme right across the 11 in the second half. They're not sure of what their roles are, do they need to push forward, try and get one more, need to hold back. If they hold back, they know they're going to invite pressure onto themselves. There's no set plan in mind, which is why Ceballos is neither of the two. He's not a 10, he's not an 8, he's just drifting in between.
So what rating did you give Ceballos? Like a 6?
6, yeah.
6, okay, fair enough. Moving forward, I'll start with Saka on the left wing.
Saka again, both Saka and Pepe, I'd give them both a 6. Pepe, an additional point for the assist. Saka had a decent game. That's as good a rating as I can give him at this point. Again, the 6 because it was expected for someone who's starting a game to have the awareness around what's happening, and which is what he did. Didn't do anything wrong as such. Made the runs when required, drifted wide when required, cut inside when required. So I think a 6 is fine. Yeah.
Fair enough. Finally, then I'll move to Aubameyang.
Oba didn't have a good game, Ashwin. I didn't think he had a good game. I also, someone I think tweeted during the game, I think right at the first half, that he was carrying a knock. So maybe that is probably the reason why. But if he's carrying a knock, then you take him off. Maybe he didn't take him off because there's nobody on the bench to bring on in place of him. There's no out and out striker. So I probably give him a 5, and I'm being generous for giving him a 5 actually.
I mean, I think we're so used to this point with the season with Oba scoring almost like a goal a game, 7 and 7. That you're expecting him to do something. Like you're expecting him. It's the time when Arsenal under Wenger when Henry was at the height of his powers, where when he picked up a ball, you'd expect him to, you probably go watch games because you want Henry to go and score. So you're probably expecting a bit too much from Oba as well. I mean, the goals will come, but Oba is not the sort of striker who will make things happen out of nothing. He's more the fox in the box, that he probably, if you get the ball in the box, he's probably going to score 9 times out of 10. But he needs that service. He needs that service, right? Like you saw that one chance he had in the end, and he hit the bar. Okay, he was offside, but that's how clinical he is. He needs that one chance, and he'll score. So I guess the 5 rating is fine. Finally, the rating for Unai.
I'll just where we are currently into second international break, third on the table, a point behind the champions. I give him a 7. I don't think he's not doing anything. Well, results wise, he's not doing anything wrong. Playing style could improve. Needs to improve. but nothing to complain. If what um, if this is what helps us make it into the Champions League come the end of the season, that's fine. I mean, it's going to be horrible to watch, but
yeah.
I mean, it's a results game. It's a results business, so it's fine.
I
Game
mean,
was 7.
see, the thing is, you know what? Like heading into the international break was a great weekend for us because Spurs lost, United lost, City lost,
City
right?
lost.
So I mean, even Leicester lost. I think Leicester Blinks. So all of them dropped points.
Lost,
Everybody around us dropped points. But let's not forget, when we come back from the international break, we have Sheffield United away. Whatever said and done, if you watch Sheffield play, they gave Liverpool a really hard game. And Liverpool struggled and won that 1-0. They're playing some decent football and we're going away, so it's not going to be an easy game. Post that, we have Crystal Palace at home. I know they've not been anything close to what they were last season, but you let Zaha run at us and the space we give, it could be anything. And the game followed by that is Wolves away. And however bad the start that Wolves have had, they've come back and beaten Man City and have played some good football in that game. So the next 3 games are going to be vital, and that leads up into a busy November and December period, like which you keep mentioning. So things can turn anytime. I know United are 12th right now. They're suffering the 2 points of relegation. But like last season, I think we had a 16-point lead over United when Mourinho was sacked and Ole came in, and then that gap became. They didn't even they closed the gap and they went ahead of us at one point in the season. I remember.
Yeah.
So things can change very easily. I'm not excited right now. It's too early. It's only 8 games in, but we have to improve. Whatever said and done.
No doubt. The next 3 games, if we aspire to finish 3rd, I'm not even going to say top 4. I think we aspire to finish 3rd. Because there's definitely a chance to finish 3rd. We need to be winning all 3 of the next games. That's 9 points up for grabs. It's not going to get any easier. Wolves may be difficult. Sheffield United.
On paper,
we should be winning.
We should be getting 9 points out of 9 and
9.9.
But knowing that, I have a feeling that we're gonna struggle with all the games. If we get maybe 7 points, it'll be a great return from this.
I think we'll struggle. With the games. Sheffield have been pretty defensively solid. If I remember correctly. And you're right when you said they gave Liverpool a game. Sheffield away is going to be tough. Palace at home, we lost to them last season, so that's not going to be an easy game. Wolves away is always hard. They're a great team.
In between these games,
I mean, we've got Europa as well.
We've got Europa and we've got Liverpool away at Anfield.
Liverpool as well, yeah. So I think, I mean, Liverpool game, I'm sure he's going to play kids. He'd probably play Ozil there. And then when we end up... I think, and when we end up losing, he's invariably gonna be on Ozil. He's our highest paid player. He didn't turn up, etc. But yeah, it's gonna get tougher now, and which is what my fear is, that it's not the results, it's how we play, and I'm not happy with that.
All right, moving into the international break. I mean, I hate this period. There's no football. I hate watching international football. I just can't do it. I know a lot of people look forward to it because they have their country to support, or they, it's the worst period that comes during the football calendar for me. I hate this period.
I mean, is the ISL starting soon? I don't know. I can't bring myself to watch the ISL. I like watching Bangalore play though. I'm a big Bangalore supporter. Bangalore FC is a good club. Also because I studied in Bangalore, so I have an affiliation with that connection there. So I mean, there's always the ISL to keep yourself occupied.
Probably an option there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I don't enjoy international football. I mean, even for me, the World Cup or the Euros are exciting, but it's a pain to watch those games. Like, they only get interesting once the group stages are over, or if you've got like a group of death, luckily.
Yeah, I can't even do the Euros in the World Cup, man. I find it, if it's not club football, it's not football for me. I just can't do it.
like I'll watch, like my support for a World Cup team is based on how many Arsenal players that country has. Like one of the reasons why I was a big Germany supporter in 2010, 2014, 2014. 2014 was because they had Mertesacker, Poldi, Ozil. They it was them first,
Mustafi.
and it was France because Mustafi. Well, not he wasn't there.
Yeah, we signed him after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mertesacker, Ozil, and Poldi, very likable characters, Arsenal players. They knew what the club was about, and that was the reason why I supported them. Like even this time, I was hoping for the French because Koscielny and Giroud were there, but then they both left by then. Koscielny was out injured. Giroud had joined Chelsea. Yeah, so I'm not a big
I think
football fan. I can't get it.
I think my support is the same as yours, except that mine probably more tends to go towards like my favorite players. So when we had like your Henry and Perez playing, I would support France at that time. Then when Fabregas came in, I support Spain. Like I supported Germany because again Ozil was one of my favorite players. Yeah. So yeah, like there's no loyalty over there because I mean it's not my nation anyway. But if it's not club football, it's no football for me.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, for me, it's the same. It's if it's not club football, it's not international football. Just doesn't have the connect. I mean, yeah, hopefully in a few years or a decade or whenever that happens, if India ever makes it to the World Cup, then it might be different.
Yeah.
The 48 team World Cup coming, hopefully we have a better chance of it.
Better chance of getting into the.
But that's the only time I think I would probably have some emotional connect to a World Cup. Otherwise, I just don't give a shit.
Fair enough, Samrit. This has been great.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys. Just before we go, we are at the Arsenal Away on Twitter. Please subscribe, please like, and please share. Our channel is called the Arsenal Away. You can hit the subscribe button that's going to come onto your left, and if you want to see our last video, it's going to be on the right. So please like, share, and comment. The more you do, the more we get viewed on YouTube, and the more you share, just helps us grow. So please like, share, and comment, guys. Thank you.
Also, plugs for us, our handles probably pop up somewhere there.
Yeah.
So give us a follow, give us a shout out on Twitter. We love talking to you guys, hearing what your thoughts are. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.